Saturday on the defensive side?
Yeah, the contrast. Yeah, first half bad, second half good, in simpler terms. But definitely just trying to find ourselves during the game. Seems kind of been the theme, at least for the defense, a lot this year. And you can look at it two different ways. One, like why can't we come out a little bit faster? And obviously that's going to be something that we really work on these next couple of weeks. And secondly, it's good that we're responding, that we're able to make those corrections and put them to work on the field. So obviously, grateful for the win more than anything, and it's good to go into the bye week knowing we can get a little bit extra work in.
Do you have a feel for how much the revolving door of injuries and attrition on defense has contributed to the not having as much consistency as you would like, I guess, in your eyes?
Well, for me, I think it's really more of a positive, and I say that to say the comparison to last year. I think there was that kind of revolving door you speak of, but just not the same results. And I think we can't ever control injuries. I think a lot of the guys are committed, to their body, their nutrition, and just trying to be healthy week in and week out. But the guys who are stepping in are stepping up and are playing winning football. Obviously, there's some performances that guys will wish they had a little bit better. But if I compare it to last season where we had much more bigger injury problems, like that door was revolving a lot faster for us. We're sitting here 8-0, so pleased in that manner. But obviously, want to be able to continue to build the knowledge, in our depth in all positions. And so that definitely speaks to a couple of the inconsistencies we're having for sure. But like I said, definitely a better step, from where we were last year.
What are some maybe the other issues that you feel like have kept this defense from being consistent and putting it all together for 4 quarters?
Yeah, I've been asked that question so many times, probably in the last few weeks. It's just from you, whether it be you guys, coaches, parents, whatever. And for the most part, it's been I don't know, as much as I'd love to be able to pinpoint the exact problem because then we'd attack it. I can't really speak to it. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably between the ears, for a lot of the guys. And I think for us, it's going to be taking what we learned through the week and really just applying it from the get-go. I think, especially in this past game, like we knew Schrader was a great dual-threat quarterback and really loved to run the ball. Like that was something that was not in question, and the coaches did a great job preparing us for that during the week. But it seemed like it took us until halftime to kind of like believe it with our own eyes, as a defense. And I think that's where, if I had to try and pinpoint that, exact issue, I think that's kind of where we have to just trust what we've been studying all week and trust, we're about to be 9 games in now, 9 weeks in. We'll get some nuances because, people are trying to beat us, but, people are who they are at this point in the season, so we really got to trust the preparation and have confidence from that. I think that's kind of where we have to grow as a defense. So if that's the case, then obviously having 2 weeks to prepare for, a good Notre Dame team will definitely help us.
After Schrader scored that their third touchdown, the second offensive, you were really animated on the sidelines, you and DeAndre and a lot of people talking. What were you saying? What point were you wanting to get across right there?
Yeah, really, it was just I knew we could play better, including myself. I knew that we were just dropping the ball, as far as some of our responsibilities, and that's just not us. It felt like in the first half, both sides of the ball, obviously, they did great jobs of capitalizing on our mistakes, but the mistakes were coming from us, and we knew that. Really, more than anything, it was just trying to find some energy on the sideline. Positive and negative, however you want to see it. It brought a little boost. You know what I'm saying? So, and we've been in a battle as a defense through much thicker issues. So, a little fire, a little spark won't ever hurt this group. And obviously we grew from that moment. So, we're all competitors. We want to win. We want to shut everybody out. That's our goal. So anytime, we start to deviate from that, frustration is going to come. So that's all it was, but it was all towards a better goal.
And I look, and the freshman quarterback's getting ready to go out on the field. I'm used to seeing 5 in the offensive bubble, but not your 5. What were you doing? What did you say? What did you go out there to what kind of message?
I'll be honest with you. I had no idea he was going out there. I was just in there trying to hype everybody up and tell the offense keep pushing. We're with you. And that's funny you say that because I'm going back to the sideline and I hear the crowd getting loud and I'm like, oh, I guess they're back in the game and I'm like, oh, Cade's in. I had no idea. Wasn't an issue at all though. Obviously. DJ spoke to it. We needed that spark, and Cade definitely has that ability, and the player he is as well. So, it wasn't surprising me, but wasn't a problem at all. He did a great job.
I guess with all the close games you've had this year, how many more times have you found yourself in your voice and having to get in there and get in people's faces?
Yeah.
Say something.
You got to ask me about it. Getting in people's faces isn't really me. That's not really how I go about business. Which it works for some. That's just not how I go. So that was definitely out of the usual for me this weekend. But like I said, I think it was positive. But that's all. I feel like I only speak when it's needed. Don't want to be a guy who's just talking for no reason. But definitely want to be heard. When I speak. So. I think as a team, as a defense, like I said, we're taking steps in the right direction. A lot of close games, you're right, but we ended up on the right side of them. And, there's that frustration that's had and we really want to blow people out and really want to dominate our opponents. But then there's that appreciation of just winning, right? And it wasn't this time last year where I would have done about anything to be 8-0, and I haven't forgotten that version of myself and that version of this team. So definitely appreciative that we just keep ending up on the right side of this thing for sure.
Saturday was another one of those battle-tested games. How do you feel like it helps mold this team into this, and what will be this final stretch of the season?
Resilient, man. I said that after the Wake Forest game, and that's what I found out about these guys, the whole team. I mean, as I alluded to it a little bit on social media, seeing their defense, rightfully so, hadn't gotten so many turnovers, but on the field dancing, right? That just put me in a confident mindset from our perspective because I knew what this team was already made of. It's going to be all the way until the clock hits 0, until we done fighting. So when you get that sense of a team maybe thinking they got us beat before it's over, it gives you a little bit more confidence. And that's what I know from these guys, man. They're going to fight to the end, regardless of what the scoreboard is saying. So it's been pleasing. You go into like you said, the last stretch of the season. When some teams are tiring out, some teams are really looking at their record if they're gonna make a bowl, how it's gonna work out in the postseason. We just gonna keep balling, keep trying and striving to get better, and really try and find our best ball, in this home stretch.
In this final part of the season, how important do you think it is to get that bye week before the final?
Very important. I'm about to take so many naps this week. It's about to be amazing now, but just getting to work on us, obviously, Notre Dame's the next opponent, but I'll be honest with you, I'm really spending this next week on focusing on myself, becoming better and just us growing as a defense. It's, not even worried about the opponent, worrying about the little things, the fundamentals, and the things the coaches are going to harp on, just fixing the small things. I think it's coming at the right time, for us. And like I said, obviously about to have a good road test in Notre Dame, so that's much needed for sure.
KJ, what have you seen from Wes Goodwin throughout his progress of this season?
He's been a rock star. Honestly, he's been a rock star. And when I speak to earlier about us as a defense and having to do a better job of just trusting our preparation, I'm really speaking about Wes and just the position he put us in to be successful. We had to trust his plan. I could tell in the game that it was his plan to really, towards the end of the stretch, make sure Schrader was holding the ball a lot and keeping it out of Tuck's hands because obviously, he had a great game up to that point. So that's just all him, and it has to be, on our shoulders to just carry out the game plan, and obviously it worked out in the right way. So he's been great. He's from my personal accolades or whatnot. He's helped me, become a better player. Be more confident in myself. Since day one, he stepped in this position. Just told me just be me, and get to the quarterback. However you see fit. And, him speaking, that confidence in me has definitely helped me as a player. So We talk a lot on just schemes and different things that we can do during the week, to apply pressure and get to the quarterback. And it's just great to know that he's on our side and trying to allow us to make plays. He's been awesome. He's been awesome.
Has he changed much at all? Is he a little bit more fiery at times?
Yeah, he can be. He'll get after you now. He's definitely grown into that role as far as being the alpha, of the defense. And the respect has always been there for sure. But there's definitely times where we need to get our butts chewed out for sure. We definitely have earned it a few times these past few weeks. So wouldn't say he's changing. Say he's evolving, but he's still himself for sure.
You talked about wanting to shake things up on the sideline and sort of stepping out of your comfort zone and
Yeah.
try to get some emotion. Does this defense have fewer personalities like that than it has in recent years in your mind?
Personalities probably fewer, yeah, but that doesn't take away from the leadership. A lot of guys on this defense who just are lead by example guys, and as a good follower, you have to do a great job of paying attention to those leading by example. People are going to lead in their own different ways, and it's definitely not as vocal as a defense that we've had, but the leadership qualities are definitely still there. And like I said, a lot of the guys do a great job of just filling out situations and knowing when to speak up, knowing when something's off. So yeah, just a little different feel, but not necessarily a negative thing. Just different course for sure.
A lot of players learn from each other, little things. What do you learn from Rook?
From Rook?
Yeah.
I better bring that energy. That's what I learned from Rook. Speaking of someone who's going, he's 100 miles a minute every play he gets, and I learned to bring that energy for sure. I think, for myself, I try to be a guy to bring energy, but there's definitely some days where it's tough, and I feed off Rook. He's definitely someone who helps me. I know when I get into some of those days, I'm definitely leaning on him, to help build me up. So he's been great, man. You ask anybody on the defense, he's somewhat of the spark of this defense, the unsung hero, if you will. So he's definitely helped us and obviously helped himself. Been playing good ball this year. Just excited to see and know how he's been working in the offseason. So I'm really happy to see how he's come along.
I know that you're a thoughtful guy, so do you spend any time thinking about, hey, if we make it even to a national championship, I've only got 7 games left, I've only got so many working man Wednesdays, focus Thursdays left, it's all kind of limited?
Yeah, I definitely, that's been the thought since this year, started, just appreciating everything. There's not too many people who get multiple, like, senior days. So I kind of took a good trial run last year as far as, how to, appreciate the roads and everything. But things as small as just seeing the fans as I drive into the stadium, really getting to watch the support, seeing hearing the crowd, 80,000 strong. Like, that's not, seeing some of the games this past weekend, that's not everybody's environment at all. It's somewhat sad that not every, college athlete gets to experience something like that. Even if you're an away team, just get to experience a crowd against you or a crowd for you like that. So not taking that for granted at all, not taking it for granted for all. So definitely appreciating every little moment, gonna appreciate this good bye week and getting to just rest and work with the guys, get in the film room and just try and get better. But 100%, every chance I'm getting to spend with the boys, I'm soaking it in.
When you talk about some of the inconsistencies being mental and, trusting your preparation, things like that, are you surprised that's been the fact, given the experience you guys have defensively, particularly in that front seven?
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't. On Saturdays, I'm expecting us to, like I said, go out and dominate. So on Saturdays, it definitely comes as a surprise factor because, once again, I know how we practice. I mean, you ask Coach Sweeney and anybody on this team, especially the last 3 weeks, our practice has been stellar as a defense. There's some weeks if practice is off, then we might be in trouble. But outside of, I think we had a pretty rough practice Thursday. But outside of that Thursday practice, we've had some really good practices. And so when you have that good preparation, that's where the confidence comes in to know that you're ready for the moment. And so when stuff gets a little off, it's like you just ask questions like, what could it be? So like I said, that's just my hunch, could be totally wrong. But if I'm right, then we just gotta, work to find and build that confidence, and it could be in guys who just don't have as much playing experience, and I definitely understand that. When you're not out there as much, all you're doing is, learning on the practice field, and then you're thrown out in some pretty critical situations. The first thing any athlete's going to do is think, I don't want to mess up, because they care about the moment. But we just got to, shift the mindset for our guys to be, I don't want to mess up. I want to dominate this moment. I want to, dominate my opponent. That's where we need to try and get, because I feel like that's where we are. A lot of us are right now. Is I don't want to mess up, and we just can't attack in that mindset. You know what I'm saying? So that's what, in a great bye week, we'll be able to grow from that.
Any questions on Zoom for KJ?
Hey KJ, this is Matt. Can you elaborate just a little bit on kind of what you guys were doing to keep the ball out of Tucker's hands in the second half? And were you surprised they didn't try to even force feed him more, even with y'all trying to keep it out of his hands? Yes,
so like I said, Wes did a great job, really. I think, some of the calls, obviously their offense runs through those two, some great players, and showed his speed on his touchdown versus me for sure. So really just trying to, like I said, keep out his hands. They do a lot of Q counter reads, zone reads, but a lot of things they do is a read on the defensive ends or, the defensive tackles, whether it be the midline, because their quarterback can run. It's not just a called run for the running back. And so with that being said, there's defensively, we can predict or give a certain read to make the quarterback keep the ball. And I think that's what Wes was definitely, trying to hone in on towards the end of the game, because obviously Schrader can hurt you with his legs too, but, if we're going to be able to hit somebody over and over again, might as well be the quarterback instead of the running back. So that's definitely, hats off to Wes and really knowing that that's how we wanted to attack them in the second half, and probably was his plan the whole time. And like I said, we as a defense just had to do a better job of trusting his plan and executing it, and it'll all work out. But definitely worked out in the end.
And then one more for me, I was just going to ask, Shipley said after the game Saturday that he felt like y'all had a chance to make a statement and didn't really do that with the way you played and kind of being able to put the game away. Just how do you kind of balance being happy to be 8-0 and kind of where you all are right now, but also feeling like you still haven't played 4 quarters and haven't really maybe put it all together for 4 quarters yet?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a balance act, because we want to so bad. I mean, we are working day in and day out to literally just impose our will on the next opponent. So it's tough, but like I said, after wanting to just be better and really stress to the guys like what we have to do to get better, but you have to think about last year and really wanting to be better than what we were, and just to be winning. You just have to appreciate that. I got to see Trevor play yesterday. They had a tough loss, and talked to him a little bit, and just, same thing on that level. You just want to win, man. So it might not be the prettiest, but I'm so happy we're 8-0 going into the bye week, and really just like Ship said, we definitely know that we can do so much better, but at the same time, I have to appreciate being 8-0 for sure.
Any other questions?
Can you,
Go ahead.
I was gonna ask, can you explain the mechanics of how you get isolated on that guy? Was it zone coverage?
Yeah.
Did they clear out the
You
receivers
talking about
on the touchdown?
on touchdown? Yeah. So, yeah, for that one, it was just a call where essentially we call it peeling the back, and if he goes out on a high release, then I was supposed to take him. So, for me, just knowing I have to do a better job of knowing who I'm going against. Obviously, a great running back runs like a 10-3 100, so I got to give myself more space and keep him in front of me, make him catch the ball in front of me, and then have the defense rally around me. I think in that moment, he got on me fast, and I should have done a better job of pushing him out of bounds. But he made a great play, and I knew once I turned around, I didn't even have to look for the ball. I said there's no way he's not throwing him this football. So that's kind of what I spoke on earlier. Just doing a better job this week overall on our technique, and I'm at the helm of that. I'm not playing perfect either, so I have some work to do. But it's a great play, yeah.
Anything else? All right, thanks, KJ.
Thank you, guys.